Hey guys, and welcome back to this month's Love It or Leave It video. I feel like every time I turn around, I'm filming another one of these, but you guys seem to like them. I love filming them because it's just our time to like chat about things, you know? This is kind of like your monthly activewear digest. We go through some mini reviews, some kind of highlights and lowlights of things I tried this month, and any upcoming launches or anything exciting during the month that I know about yet. Since I film these like the month before it comes out, not like it takes me a month, it takes me like a week to get these videos out, but you know what I mean. I don't always know like which launches are actually happening during the month because brands tend to leave those to the last minute, but we try our best. I actually do feel like I have a decent amount of things to review and that I tried this month. So definitely excited to share. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and follow me on Instagram. I'm constantly posting on my story, posting on my feed, you know, it's a little here and there, but on the stories, I'm always there. So let's start off with the mini reviews. So I don't think I've gotten so many requests to review something that wasn't leggings in a long time. We're talking about my NOBULL trainer shoes. I got these about a month ago and I kept saying I would review them on my story until it got to the point where it was just so long that I was like, yeah, I'll just review it in the Love It or Leave It video. Then I can talk a little more concisely about things. So I'm not a shoe reviewer, so I'm gonna do my best. I believe these are their canvas trainers, though they might not be the canvas ones. I'll put what they actually are on the screen. They are pretty pricey and everyone's like asking me like, are they worth the price? But it's like, to me, my other lifting shoes were Nike Metcons, which I think were like just as expensive, if not more expensive than these. So I didn't really see them as like too bad. And I'm not one to go for like cheap shoes because they usually just like don't last super long. So yeah, they were expensive, but like any other shoe I would have gotten would also be expensive, if that makes sense. And that's coming from a girl who does not like to spend a lot of money. But on shoes, I don't have a lot of shoes, so we invest. And that's why I only get boring colored shoes. So these are a lifting shoe, so they do have a flat sole and they're very sturdy. If you're not used to lifting shoes, I would really only walk like short distances in these. I would definitely not run or anything like that in these. These are not made for running. They don't have the cushioning for it. They wouldn't be very comfortable. They wouldn't hold up. If you didn't know, you should have a flat sole when you're lifting, especially doing like things like squats and deadlifts. I just wear them anytime I'm at the gym because all I really do is weightlifting. I got a size 8 in these, my normal shoe size, and they felt a little tight the first time I put them on. After I've worn them a couple times now, I'm definitely glad I didn't get the 8.5. So they have this nice sole of the shoe, so it has a good amount of grip to it. I just think the style of these is really cute. It has a little speckled gray, and the actual fabric here has these like little raised like pebble detailing, almost kind of like water resistant, but I just feel like they're gonna stay really clean. I do have all white Nike Metcons. Kind of the reason why I got these was because they were gray. In the white, like you can literally just see any dirt on them, and I just get nervous about like wearing those to the gym every day and getting them dirty, so I did want a shoe that I felt like wouldn't get dirty as easily. The NOBULL logo is like pretty pronounced. Like I would have, you know, maybe had this a little less noticeable. The laces are nice and the inside is like kind of perforated, as you can see, and it does actually have like a little bit of arch support to it. It is a very minor arch support, but I have super high arches, so I did like that for these. They're also super lightweight, so it's not like I'm like clugging around like heavy shoes. I feel super supported in these. They fit my feet really well. I do have a wider like toe area, so if you have wider feet, I feel like these were actually fine. And in some ways, I like these more than my Nike Metcons. I don't know if it's because my Metcons are a half size bigger, so they are like a little too big for me. I just feel like the material of this is like a little more resistant to dirt and everything, and almost like a little more sturdy. And I felt like the NOBULLs had more styles than the Nike Metcons, because really the only thing you can change with the Nike Metcons are like a couple colors, but NOBULL has like so many options. Honestly, I'm liking these. I would get them again and I would recommend them. They are like a stiff shoe if you're not used to that, so it'll feel weird like bending your toes for the first couple of times, but now that I've had them for a couple weeks, it feels totally normal. For our next mini review, we have another collection from Tier. So you've heard me rave about their bare leggings. Their bare leggings were those super nice leggings with the no front seam and the curved glute seams in those nice neutral colors. Well, they had like a bright red and then black and then a little like taupey gray color. And that totally made me so excited about the brand because I never tried them before. And those leggings were really high quality. They were decently priced, around $50, but I do have a discount code with them. It's just Kath for 10% off. So that makes it a little cheaper too. And they were just so nice. So I was super excited when they were coming out with a new collection. This is the Love Spell collection, and this is the color Love Spell, which is a super unique color. You don't see like, you know, hot pink very much. Personally, it's a little bright, but I did review these on my Instagram story and I do have a highlight there, but I thought we'd just touch base and review these again. I don't think they sold out, but I think that this launch went like better than any of their other launches because I think they're starting to get a little more recognition. They are still a small business and they're women owned, and the owner is like super nice. So I love supporting them because, you know, support your ladies, you know? Starting off with the top, this kind of looked like it wasn't going to be enough support or coverage, and it actually really surprised me. It's actually basically a full coverage. There's no side boob. There's really not much cleavage at all. You could probably make there be a little more cleavage, but it's not like a booby sports bra. The material is kind of a sleek performance material, maybe a little less slick than the last collection. The material is also thinner than the last collection. I'll get into that. I do like this bra a lot better than the last bra because the last bra would kind of like cut into my traps over time, but this one, the straps are very soft and they're thicker, so they haven't been cutting in. The inside of the bra is lined with like this mesh material, so it's very lightweight and breathable. They have the seam that separates the cup pads so the cups don't like go into each other's lanes. And the cups are actually like formed and like stiff enough to where they don't like fold ever, so you're not gonna have to worry about them folding. But they're also surprisingly discreet and like you can't see them when they're in the bra, which is always a pet peeve of mine when you can like see the cup pads through. It's not a cute look. Really nice open back to this one, and this is like the signature thing of this new launch. They call this their jelly contour. It's like these little silicone things that match the color of the bra. So it's a very subtle contour, kind of goes in the area that there would be like boob sweat, but it's actually really sturdy, and like I do not see this like ripping off or going anywhere. And for the leggings, we have some of the same features as the bare leggings that I loved. So they're a seamless waistband. By the way, I do wear a small in all of these, and the waistband does come down a little bit in the front to give a little lower tummy control, but these definitely are higher waisted than the last ones, and they're also like a 28 full length inch inseam. So the last ones were definitely more of a 7/8 length, so beware if you are on the shorter side. These were like super long. No front seam on these. You do have a little bit of an extended crotch gusset here. We have our first guest of the show. Okay, you don't want to be held. He's mad because I told him he had to come inside. Okay, fine. The back has the signature curved glute seams, so they're super flattering, and you have their jelly contour that comes and does like a very subtle booty contour. I really don't think it's too in your face. Like you can definitely see it, but it like matches the color of the legging, so it's not like super distinct. And it also carries down in the front to what they call a quad contour, and then it goes basically all the way down the leg to the bottom. The bare leggings were definitely more compressive. These I would really only say like pretty much a light compression. They're also very thin, so sometimes with a thin legging and no front seam, there's just like a lot of attention drawn to this region, so I'd be careful with what underwear you're wearing. They also show underwear lines very easily because they're thin, and the waistband actually came up pretty high on me, and I have a long torso. It didn't really look like it was coming up too high on everyone, but just on me, like I tried all three of the colors and they did feel like they were coming up pretty high. And because they're thinner, you're not really gonna get any cellulite coverage. I will say I did wear these to the gym, and I really did not get any sweat marks on them. Usually I get like a little bit of like crotch sweat or something, and I really did not see anything. So I would say they're decently sweat friendly. But yeah, these definitely are more of a naked feel type of legging than the bare legging. They will be bringing back the bare leggings. I feel like it'll be end of the year / early next year at this point. But if you do like more of a naked feel, super stretchy legging, these are the ones. And compared to the bare leggings, these did stay up in the gym a little better. They didn't slide down on me personally a ton, but I did get some like people telling me that they're slid down on them a little bit. So these ones are definitely better for that. But yeah, high on the booty scale for sure. These are super flattering, and I do feel like the material is pretty durable and long lasting. It's on the sleek side. I used my glute bands and we didn't get any issues. So I squat tested them before, but I'm interested to see in like my camera lighting if they're squat proof, because these colors are pretty bright and the fabric is pretty thin. But I mean, it looked okay before, but we'll test it out again. If you're in between sizes on these, I would size down. I had like the tiniest bit of room in the crotch area, but not enough to make me size down. But if I was in between small and medium, I would get a small. And the last mini review, because I feel like I've already talked for way too long for them to be mini reviews, are the Kamo Fitness tops. So last Love It or Leave It, I talked about the Kamo Fitness tie-dye leggings and shorts, and to be honest, I'm still loving those so much. I just feel like they're really nice quality, and they're my favorite tie-dye pair of leggings that I own right now. I also love the shorts, and they came out with tops recently, and I mentioned in the last Love It or Leave It video that they were coming out with like matching sports bras or tops, and I did not expect this, but I'm pleasantly surprised. They're basically Align tank dupes, and I have tried an Align tank dupe on my channel before, but this one is so much nicer. The one I've tried before is from Amazon as well. I guess this one is also on Amazon, but it was kind of like a sleek material and it just like wasn't great. But this one is made of a brushed material like the Ellyn tank, and it just fits so nice. And this is the kind of tank I personally like don't really work out in these types of shirts, but I wear them like on a daily basis just as like little, like, I don't know, little shirts, you know? Athleisure, if you will. I wore these to my pumpkin patch, had a good time. You have this beautiful deep V, and it looks like just a tank top, but it does have a full-on like built-in bra inside. So it has cut pads, it has an elastic at the bottom, and it is separated by some seams again. So the cut pads kind of stay in their zone. The inside looks weird in mesh like this, but you don't see that. And the straps just go straight up and down into the back into a kind of like a scoop neck, and there's a little seam detailing on the side. Basically like an exact dupe for the Ellyn tank. I'm just so obsessed with these because I think they're like $20 to $25. So they're super affordable, especially for someone who wanted the Ellyn tank and was like, I just can't spend money on Lululemon. It's really hard for me to buy Lululemon stuff because things like this come out. It does really like squish the girls up. Personally, I have a small. I could also probably do a medium. I like the small just for like the bra band compression, but I've been hearing a lot of people saying that they could go their size up. So if you're hesitant or you're in between sizes, I would go with the bigger size. There's definitely some cleavage. I don't think it's too crazy. The side boob coverage is good though. And it comes in the same color as the leggings, but not all of the tie-dye colors. It comes in the sage green, also the purple color, white, which is such a nice staple. I love this shirt so much. And it also comes in the black tie-dye. The tie-dye ones are slightly less brushed than the solid colored ones. This is the solid colored one up close. It is super soft and just super nice. I can't say enough things about these tops. It's so nice to not have to wear a bra with them and still feel supported, and just so nice. So I will link these down below on their website as well as Amazon. On their website, I do have a support code. It's just my name, Kathryn. And again, whenever you use my codes, make sure to enter my monthly giveaway. The link is in the description below and you just enter it in. Super easy, and the winner will be chosen on November 1st. And now into the next segment of the video, which is kind of things I've been testing out this month, some pros and cons. And I thought it would be fun to talk about some gym accessories. So my gym does require me to wear a mask at all times right now. And I did have one mask in the past that I liked it because it did have the nose wire and adjustable ear straps and everything. But this has kind of been like my go-to gym mask lately. It's from the brand Adams, and it's made of, I think it's an antimicrobial fabric, but it comes in a bunch of sizes, and I just like measured my face with a tape measure. I think that this is the size like small, and it fits my face like really well. I don't really want to put it over my makeup, but this is what it looks like. And it stays on well. I do have to adjust it occasionally. I just make sure to always touch like the outside of the mask and not touch my face or anything. And it's comfortable. And what I like about this one is it doesn't like suck into my face like when I'm breathing heavily. Like I feel like I can still breathe easily without my mask like, I don't know, like suctioning into my mouth and like feel like I'm suffocating. Like I actually don't despise wearing this mask when I work out. I know people are always asking me, how do you work out in a mask? And honestly, this mask makes it pretty easy. And second of all, I know this is gonna be controversial, but I almost kind of like working out in my mask because I feel like people don't approach me as much because I'm like, I don't know, like you have more like hiding behind something. And I often make like weird facial expressions when I'm like working really hard in the gym, and I don't have to worry about that when I'm wearing a mask. So here's a close-up of the fabric. It's very lightweight, and then the inside has like stripey dudes on it, and it's got a little stretch to it. It comes in a bunch of colors and sizes, and it's definitely been my go-to gym mask. Another gym accessory are my lifting gloves. So my hands are little wimps, and I used to try to do deadlifts, and what was restricting me most from going up in weight in my deadlifts was my hands hurting. I couldn't even get to the point of forming calluses because my hands would just like blister and they would like hurt so much. And I'm gonna be a dentist. I have to protect my hands. I really do not want to like have them roughed up and like gross. It's also just like somewhat of a hygiene precaution to have like open wounds on your hands. Like I know I wear gloves, but if you know, you know. But I've had these gloves on Amazon for over a year now, and I wear them several times a week, and they have held up so well, and they were literally like $18. They're from the brand Fit Active Sports, and basically you just put them on like this, and it just kind of covers the outside of your hand, so it's a little bit open, so it's not like super hot, and then you just like wrap them around like that. I do move my watch down a little bit when I wear them. It doesn't like totally interfere with my watch, but I do have to move it down. I wear the size medium, which is the same like nitrile glove size that I wear at school, if that helps. I definitely don't have like tiny little girly hands, but I also don't have like giant hands. So here's the inside. It's more of like a, I don't know, softer material. This is the part that goes like on your wrist. And then this side has like these little grippy dudes. And I feel like for a year, of having these gloves, they're holding up pretty well. So highly recommend these as well. They have helped me so much, and like I wear them throughout my entire pull day. Like anytime doing any pulling movements, like pull-ups, lat pull downs, rows, anything like that that's putting a lot of strain on my hands, I'm always wearing my gloves. And one legging that I tried this month that like kind of let me down a little bit were the Buffbunny Dreamy leggings. So I actually loved a lot of things from the last Buffbunny launch, but this was my first time trying the Dreamy leggings, and I wore them to the gym, and like I just honestly had like the worst workout that day because like I was constantly pulling up my leggings. Like these were falling down so much. I also felt like they weren't really holding me in the waist or anything, and they just didn't really feel like a workout fabric. They're like tight in the wrong places for me, and they're loose in the wrong places for me. And I know some people like these, but honestly these are so close to the Legacy leggings. The Legacy leggings are like a couple more dollars, and I absolutely love those. Like they stay on super well, they're super stretchy, and these ones, they just really let me down. I feel like I could wear them as a kind of like lounge lifestyle legging, that I don't need them to be like quite as high up, and I don't need them to perform as much, but I was just disappointed with how these kind of fell down on me. So now on to the last segment, which is launches of the month. So I'm not really sure of too many launches, but at this point, guys, this is gonna be November, love it or leave it, right? Like Black Friday is coming up. I would recommend kind of like putting the activewear purchases on hold until Black Friday, because there's gonna be a lot of deals. And I feel like if you buy something now, you're gonna be like, I should have waited until it was on sale for Black Friday. Personally, I stay 10 million miles away from the Gymshark Black Friday sale. It's never been successful for me, even as a speedy shopper. It's just always disappointing. And last time I did the Black Friday sale, I think I waited in line for like 45 minutes. Then by the time I got to my cart, I only had like the menswear stuff that I was getting like for Ian, and I got none of the stuff for my own. So I was like, well, this isn't worth it. But some Black Friday sales that I do have good luck with are the Ellyn and Buffbunny Black Friday sales. First of all, everything is usually like 20 to 80% off, and they put everything on sale, even stuff that they're launching like the same day. The Buffbunny Black Friday sale last year was at midnight Central Time on Thanksgiving Day. So I'm on the West Coast, so that's Pacific time. So it was at 10 p.m. for me on Thanksgiving Day, like into Black Friday. Last year, Ellyn launched like their black camo stuff, and Buffbunny launched like some like lounge sets, and even those were on sale. Last year, I think that the revivals were on sale for like $20, and I got a pair of Buffbunny leggings for like $13. I also got some joggers for like $25. Most of their leggings were not that discounted, but just saying, they do have some super awesome deals. So I would definitely keep an eye out for those sales. Like I did last year, I'm gonna come up with like a little doc of all of the Black Friday sales and my favorite pieces from those brands, things to look for. So stay tuned for that. That'll probably come out like the week before Black Friday once all these sales are kind of finalized. But that is the big thing of the month. And AliExpress will also be having their, I think it's the 11/11 sale. So on November 11th, keep an eye out, because that's when AliExpress always has some really great deals. So yeah, I don't know any concrete dates of any sales or launches yet. I will put them up on the screen if I know of any launches by the time I finish editing and publishing this video. So I hope this video was helpful. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed. As always, leave any suggestions, things I can do to improve down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!